And we're back with the People Chronicles and Dave Yuengling. I'm Jackie Hoffman. Second half, we're going to learn a little bit about where you find the strength and the courage to do what it is that you're doing and follow your dream. Because once you wake up in the morning and you know that you have this 9 to 5 or sometimes 9 to 9 job, and you're coming and going, and you have family to worry about and the stress of that, but you also have this little light in the back of your head that says, I want to follow my dream. How do you take a detour and go the complete opposite direction?
That's a really good question. Sometimes after you've been doing something for so long, for 30 years, eventually if it gets to the point where you just can't stand what you're doing, you just kind of have to sit back and say, I've always wanted to do something else, and there's probably most people are like that. They get involved in something and that's what they do for a living just because that's what they do, and maybe it's not what they really wanted to do. So you kind of have to take a look at everything and see what kind of impact it's going to have on the people around you. But when you get into it, you have to get into it. You have to really be committed to it. You have to follow through on everything. It's just something that, if you really want to do it, you really have to go all full tilt at it.
Now, you don't have to answer this question, but I'm curious to know if there had been any negativity from anyone around you, because it just seems as though there was so much positive energy knowing that it's going to be a sure thing.
Well, first of all, nothing is a sure thing. But yes, I have gotten some negativity from family members. Mm-hmm. But that's the minority, not the majority.
And it's not going to get in your way.
And it's not going to get in our way. One of the things that we had to do when we got started was had to talk to Dick, the owner of the brewery. Mm-hmm. And his only comment was, make sure you make a good product. He said, make the best ice cream that you can. And, that was his only suggestion. Like there is a legacy in the family, as far as the Yuengling name goes, and that's something that we don't want to ruin.
And you take great pride in that.
Very much so.
The name of an ice cream being called Black and Tan as well. And you were able to give us a little bit of a taste test not that long ago, and exceptional. It was outstanding. And, we tried to talk about that when we were taste testing the ice cream itself, and it was just out of this world. So I don't think you're going to have a problem that way.
I don't think so either. I mean, everybody who has tasted it so far has had positive comments about everything.
Right.
And
there are people that are listening that want to do something that they really want to wake up in the morning and get out of bed and say, I love my job, because, you were always taught as a kid, or at least I was anyway, to always do what you love. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable pretty much for the rest of your life. And that's so true. And, whether or not you have a talent, as opposed to an education for something, it's two totally different things. But you did follow your dream. So what can you tell the people that are listening? Because there have been so many steps from, and I'm following you to what you're doing. I mean, from everything to manufacturing, making this product and tasting it, to, I remember you telling me, more root beer when you were making root beer ice cream. And it was so interesting to listen to you talk about that when this isn't what you've been doing for your life, your whole life.
No, but when you hear me talk about it, it's a positive thing. I mean, it's
right.
It's something that you wake up in the morning and you don't say, oh my gosh, I have to go to work. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to work having to eat ice cream? Right. So, that's a positive thing. And, it's one of those, when you switch careers in the middle of your life, every now and then, and I've had this happen to me several times, you wake up in the morning and you kind of get this thought in your head that, oh my gosh, this is real. I'm really doing this. And you have what I just call an aha moment, where it's, I can't believe I'm doing this, but you just kind of, and it scares you. I mean, literally, it will scare you numerous times throughout the process, because there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. There's possibility of failure. There's, and, one of the things that I've learned is that, some of the most successful people have failed numerous times before they became successful.
Absolutely.
So, that's one of the things that I look at, and going through this whole process has not totally been easy. But everything has gone through according to plan and according to schedule and things like that. So I'm just looking forward to when the ice cream actually does come out.
And it's going to be a great year. 2014 is going to be awesome for, Yuengling ice cream. But also another question that some people might have, they probably don't know that, you have a family of your own. You have a wife, you have children. And
Yes.
so it's not just, some single guy here who has all the time in the world on their hands. You're a family man, and you're an awesome dad. And all three of your children are so successful. I follow them as well. So, and they probably have a couple of things that they can say to you to give you that little push or shove with some more positive energy.
Yeah, I've gotten really good feedback. I mean, my kids are all really, really smart. I'm not bragging, but they just...
No, you can't.
They have it. I guess as a father, I'm entitled to do that.
Sure.
But they've all given us good feedback. We've gotten them involved in the process. When we were designing packaging and logos and things like that, we ran those things past
that's neat.
past the kids because, a couple of my kids are really artistic.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some good input and some, helped us with the designs and things like that. So, they've been involved. They're interested. I don't know if any of them would ever take over the company at some point, but, they've all been very positive as far as going ahead and doing this.
So what other things did you have to overcome? You had to be a little more business savvy than you were before and know a little bit about what it was going to take. That was kind of like a super dive that you needed to make. So how do you overcome something like that you might not have known anything about?
The interesting thing is that in 30 years in the computer industry, I've developed a lot of software for manufacturing companies, distribution companies, banks, things like that. All of those things are involved in what we're doing. So it's not a totally new situation for me. I mean, a lot of these things I'm familiar with, but the ice cream industry in particular is unique unto itself. So that's where all the learning curve has come in. So it's been a lot of learning about the way the industry operates.
So it was almost like you were prepping yourself anyway for something like this. It was,
True.
in your future down that path that you were supposed to follow. So I find it really neat that the family is involved, your kids in some sort of way. And I find an interest in the fact that I can go home now on Route 61 and look over there in Orgsburg and see a Yuengling ice cream building, and what takes place there?
Right now, nothing. It's still under renovation.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be completed next Wednesday.
Okay.
So, at this point, once it's completed, that will be our base of operations.
So there's going to be a lot of traveling and for people that are going to be involved with selling the product or getting the name out there, what other types of things do you have to look ahead and say we still have to do this and we have to make a few changes on that? The ice cream itself, is that taken care of?
That is taken care of. Obviously, we're coming out with 10 flavors, but it won't stop at 10. So development of new flavors will be an ongoing thing throughout the years, trying to decide what to come out with, how much, that kind of thing. As far as territory goes, that's the biggest thing, is where are we going to go? I mean, at this point, we're definitely going to be in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. The question is how popular will it be? Will we expand beyond that? What will we do? And we have some plans as far as that goes, but that'll kind of be pushed by how popular it is to start with.
Right. And so what would you tell people that are listening that have this little idea? And we're going to talk about the younger people now, not so much, yeah, right. Not so much people that are going through that, I want to change, I want to do something different, I'm going to follow my dream. Now we're going to go back to the younger people that are listening, and they have to decide, are they going to follow through with something that's truly going to make them happy, Or do they decide to look at the dollar sign and say, no, I'm going to do that even if it doesn't make me happy? What would you say to them now?
I would say money is not everything. It's definitely not, should not be a prime driver of what you do for a living. If you do, what you do for a living you love to do, then as they say, you never work a day in your life. And that should not be driven by money. At least in my opinion, that's, you'll be a lot more happier over time if you get involved in something that you really want to do as compared to something that's just going to make you a whole lot of money.
And you know what helps? Someone like you're so laid back. And it really helps when you don't know what's going to happen when you flip that next page, or what's going to happen tomorrow, or you never know what's going to come up. Do you have any fear of someone eventually saying to you, stop, you're doing this wrong, it has to be done this way, or you're not doing it the right way?
Well, one of the things that we did do is we brought in an expert from the industry. And as we're going along and we have to make decisions, we've been trying to avoid all of that. Trying to avoid the you're not doing it right, or don't do this or do that. So that helps. So I mean, if you're going to get involved in something that you don't know a lot about, bring in somebody who does know a lot about it, and that is definitely a huge way to avoid the mistakes.
All right. Well, we thank you so very much, and we look
You're
forward
welcome.
to the new year and Yuengling ice cream. And I learned a lot from you about what you've gone through, what you've been through, and what lies ahead. So, very interesting story. How about a website for people that might want more information?
Our website is www.yuenglingsicecream.com.
You might want to spell that. Sometimes people have a problem spelling Yuengling.
Yuenglings is Yuenglings, ice cream.
Got it. And you also have a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page, and you can follow us on Twitter too.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Dave Yuengling, for following us from Schuylkill County to Berks County. We really appreciate that. It's the People Chronicles. I'm Jackie Hoffman.